there, B-siders. Welcome to Bravo for the B-side. This is Danny.
And this is Jim.
This is our 150th episode.
Yes, it is. I was thinking about it. Normally, we would probably have done something special.
Sure. I don't know why you needed to move your glasses to say that.
Because do you know what it's like to stare across the room and everything be blurry?
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens here.
I'm nearsighted.
Well, I mean, these are just, readers.
Sure.
So I can see what's right in front of me.
Yeah.
Because I can't make that out. That's way too close. That's like a foot away. Can't do it.
We have different eyes.
Yeah. But, I mean, this works great. But see, then I have to put my head way down here to see over them.
I see.
And, yeah. It sucks. It's a daily struggle. Anyway.
We didn't realize this was our 150th episode until we were going to record it.
Well, I mean, I have it all numbered.
Yeah.
So I knew it was like coming. And, we would normally do like some sort of interview or just have a guest on or something. But, things have just been.
Things have really gotten away from us lately.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
Too much. So we'll have to wait till the 200th episode and roll that in. But, I mean, on, that same kind of note, I think this week's movie is fitting.
I think so.
It fits in a lot of little different categories.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I feel like it'll become clear.
She's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we have for news?
Well, I don't know.
Well, because, posted the Stitches episode.
Yeah.
Listen to it, make sure everything is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been several weeks since the fire began. I mean, everybody knows. What can you say? It was terrible.
Horrible.
I think if you got to look for something, way more people could have perished. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I know it's really just a shit thing to say. Is, well, at least it was only 10 or 12 or 20, Those families don't think so.
Right.
But it could have been so much worse. So much worse. And I know during the whole thing, people were focusing on, well, the mayor shut this off and they don't know, look, the bottom line is these firefighters, fucking champions, like beyond the word champion, did everything they could. They got hot shots in there. They've got the planes. We had people coming in trying to help, bringing water and stuff. If anyone's going to think anything about this for a little while, obviously realizing people perished, and yes, a number of people lost everything. But, let's focus on the people who, while everyone else was being told to run away from the fire, firefighters, they just fucking run right into the middle of it.
Yeah. Face
that shit head on. Let's just not forget that. That's, kind of how I feel about it. It's a long road. It's going to be a long road to recovery for all these people, for the city. It's just going to be wild.
Yeah.
For those who are fans of the show Andor, there is a second season.
There is.
Coming in April.
Yeah.
Or did it say May? What? I saw something that said April and I saw something that said May.
April or May.
Yeah, I don't care as long as it's here.
Yeah.
Because it was just so different from the Star Wars series, all the different series out there. I love the Cloak and Dagger. I love that aspect of, the whole story behind this whole franchise isn't just pew, 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 and fly ships into.
Yeah. I mean, I liked the heist sort of aspect of it. It was really well done.
Yeah. And, it's, That's just very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's back because it was shit canned. I think they're learning their lessons. They've had so many poorly received series because they've given it the Disney treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with the Lion King. Stay
Sure.
out of Star Wars. Hire the people who know Star Wars to write it. And don't step in. Don't come to a meeting. Just sit up in your office, Disney people, and write the checks. I mean, that's about it.
Speaking of shows that got a second season,
Yeah.
we watched the season 2 premiere of Severance.
Yes.
Which is an Apple TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And it is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating high concept show. A lot of it's just check it out if you haven't seen it.
There are so many questions.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin.
I know.
To try and find answers. We've only seen the one episode.
Yeah. Well, the next one comes out this week.
Yeah. And but we did a lot of talking.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we really did.
Yeah. And in between we were talking. So that is the measure of a successful series.
Yeah. So many theories and thoughts and ideas and questions.
Where's it going? And this and that. And it's one of the few shows I do not feel like they're just like, grabbing at shit every time they sit down to write.
No, it does feel like they have a plan.
Yeah.
And even if they don't have a plan, they've made it feel as though they have a plan.
And that's good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can bullshit to that level, kudos. David Lynch passed away.
Yeah.
That is sad. Not unexpected, because every day I wake up, I'm just waiting. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next?
So morbid.
Well, it is, but it's the old guard.
Yeah.
They're just, nobody lives forever.
Well, would you like to tell us about this movie?
I would. And this movie, folks, with Digging for Fire, we talked about how we didn't know how to feel.
Yeah.
When we first saw it, because of all the trailer and the log line and stuff was just not on there. I want to say the first time I saw this movie, I didn't know how to feel.
Yeah, I agree.
And it took me a couple watches and a lot of thinking because it is just so different.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it and we'll get to all that. So this week we're covering Pontypool, a horror movie, zombie horror movie from 2008, directed by Bruce McDonald, written by Tony Burgess, who, and I didn't know this till recently. The movie is from the novel written by Tony Burgess called Pontypool Changes Everything, which he had written in 1998.
Interesting.
So 10 years previous. And I've not read the book. And from what I understand, the book is very different from the movie in terms of, I believe the perspective is from the infected.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't care because we're talking about the movie. So it was starring Stephen McHattie, Lisa Hoyle, Georgina Riley, and I hope I don't get this terribly butchered, Hrant Alianak. He was the doctor.
Okay.
Yeah. I did get a budget, $950,000 estimated.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm not sure if that's Canadian or US dollars, which in 2008 would have made a difference because there was a little disparity.
Sure.
In the dollar. But either way, good high budget. The log line is a radio host interprets the possible outbreak of a deadly virus which infects the small Ontario town he is stationed in, which is Pontypool. Quick notes. So yes, this is a Canadian film. The opening weekend for US and Canada combined was $1,541.
Woof.
The worldwide gross, $32,118. Again, that sounds like an abject failure. And theatrically, yes. But what's going on with streaming, what's going on with rentals, what's going on with all that, we just don't know. Clearly, it's doing well enough to make its rounds on the services.
Well, we watched this on a paid service. We watched this on IFC.
Right. Well, even IFC, because it's paid, they're not going to throw out just, random turds.
Right.
Just because they can get something for super cheap because nobody watched it. Well, why would you pay for it at all?
Yeah.
If nobody's going to watch it, So, yeah, we had to subscribe to IFC.
Mm-hmm.
And, fine, because IFC is independent film channel. One would think we'd have had a subscription, but we just...
I know. Interesting, isn't it?
But most of the stuff ends up on other things anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Would you like to tell us about it?
Yes. So, let's start with the... Why are you laughing at me? I had to adjust my glasses too.
That's fine. Mine are crooked now too, because I was playing with them.
Uh-huh.
But, well, anyway. So, would you like to tell us about this movie?
I would. If you could let me get a word in edgewise. Are you all right?
Okay. I don't know why, but I've just...
Are we good? Can I talk now?
Oh.
You okay?
Fuck me sideways. Okay. God damn it.
We start with a radio voiceover, and we're seeing the sound line that's moving.
Yeah.
It's mostly nonsense. It's just like a guy talking, almost like to hear himself talk. It's a radio guy.
Yeah.
And it's babble. But he's saying words. But it's hard for me to, when I went in, we watched this twice, right?
Uh-huh.
The second time, I'm like, I cannot process anything he's saying. And I think that is intentional.
It kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't bother taking notes on the subject matter in depth. I just it starts out about a missing cat.
Yeah, honey.
Yeah, and then he goes into this long roundabout thing
about why
French.
Pontypool is called Pontypool.
Yeah, it's fascinating to listen to.
Yeah,
but folks, it would be a bitch to try and write it down and then try to repeat it.
Yeah. And then he says something big is going to happen.
Yeah, he gets into this wide stream of thought about Norman Mailer.
I don't have anything about that because I literally...
It's at the end of Pontypool.
Sure.
The thing he was like writing about Norman Mailer, and that is also very good.
Yeah.
So, pay attention, people.
And then there's another radio broadcast, and it's just obituaries mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And there is an angry man talking on the phone in his truck. And he's the guy who we just heard talking previously.
Right.
He fires the guy he's talking to, hangs up the phone, and then starts talking to himself about how he's in the same boat.
Mm-hmm. That guy was Rick.
Okay.
It's important later.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. A woman puts her hand on his window and is like shouting something at him over and over again.
Yeah. It mostly incoherent.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's just sort of confused. And then she sort of like backs away into the fog.
Yeah.
And he drives off. And then he's parking in a reserved spot. So we get his name here, unless he's parking in somebody else's reserved spot. But we can assume his name is Grant Massey.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks into the radio station, which is in this like building that has other stuff in it. It's like the basement of this
it's in the
building.
Basement. What it looked like is like a really old-fashioned VFW hall.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess the upstairs might have been offices or storage and stuff because the
Yeah.
studio's in the, yeah, in the basement,
Yeah.
big basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he greets a young assistant, Laurel Ann, and she gives him a bottle of booze. They joke around a bit, and then he gets in the booth.
Can I just say, for everyone's edification, this dude Grant is decked out
Oh, yeah.
in full on city cowboy regalia, from the metal tip boots, the
Mhm.
clacking of them on the tile floor, everything,
Yeah.
even the hat with a fantastic band.
It is very thematically the like stereotypical idea of what you would imagine a radio host who is an over the top personality to be.
Mm-hmm. And I want to try and talk about this towards the end, but I mean, I'll ask you because we've never discussed this part of it. Looking at that outfit, did that tell you everything about this man? Like
Oh yeah.
personality, where he's coming
Yeah.
from, his whole, yeah, needed nothing.
It was perfect.
I mean, there are certain appearances
Yeah.
you give a character, right? You dress them up a certain way and it clicks.
Mm-hmm.
It's not being stereotypical, right?
No.
And it's not, denigrating or anything, but there's just certain looks that are like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I know who this dude is. I can strap in.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, because I mean, it tells you a lot of things about him right off the bat. Like he has a huge ego,
Yes.
right? You can tell by the way someone dresses sometimes the size of their ego.
Mm-hmm.
His is very large.
I couldn't pull it off, but I'm not going to say it was tacky or anything. I think it was actually marvelous. And every time I do watch it, I do get a little envious.
Do you?
Well, because I'm basically short and fat, and it's like everything cool is, it's tall and skinny, and it's like dusters. I love dusters. They just
Yeah.
don't look right on me. I still have one, but it doesn't look the same.
I mean, a good look for you is sort of the like Indiana Jones look.
Is it?
Yeah.
Tiny adventurer?
Kinda. I mean, that's not what I would say.
I'm sorry. Okay. Please continue.
So he gets in the recording booth. He is the morning radio host. And there is a storm happening outside. A blizzard. Yeah, it wasn't fog that women backed into. It was the blizzard.
Right.
And he briefly mentions his incident with the woman on the way in. And then Sydney, the producer, walks into the, not the booth, but the basement studio.
Mm-hmm.
He introduces her. He introduces Laurel, who was in the military. She's a homecoming hero. And then he goes to their weather guy, Ken Loney, quote, in the sunshine chopper. And he gives Ken a lot of shit about being in a chopper in the storm. Almost like he can't quite believe that Ken is out flying around in a helicopter.
Well, yeah, kind of like this is a little excessive.
Yeah.
If not expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you sure you're going to be okay out there? Anyway, there's some breaking news that comes in that Laurel and Sydney feed to him a drug bust. And then they go into this an interview and with somebody who's there.
One of the officers.
Yeah. And Sydney tells him not to talk about global warming because he does like go on this little bit of a rant. And it's interesting. It's tough to describe this because he is doing the show live.
Yes.
But they feed in pre-recorded bits now and then. And then when other people are talking on the show, like the person he's interviewing, Sydney will pipe in just into Grant's ear. Hey, do this, fix this, do this,
Yeah, ask that, don't say that, move away from this and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And then instead of listening to her, he goes he
Sorry.
goes hard
He does.
on this drug dealer story. And Sydney tries to reel him in to be more moderate. And they end up having this big argument. And he says that he is trying to piss people off for the purpose of building a loyal listening audience. That's how you get people to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And she lays into him about it being a small town. You can't embarrass or alienate people. Everybody knows everybody. It's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah, his line was, I wrote this down because I thought it was actually really fucking good. He's trying to piss people off because pissed off listeners are awake listeners, and they will tune in show after show. And then Sydney's like, yeah, but they're tuning in to hear important information for this little town, like school closings, bus information, storms.
Mm-hmm. I mean, which is fair. They both have points.
It is. And he acknowledged
Right.
that with, kind of like.
Well, and you get the sense that Grant came from maybe a bigger radio station before he was here.
Yes. This is a very tiny town. We get that,
Mm-hmm.
Thrown at us a lot in the front end. And I envision him. And it's funny because just before watching this, I was watching, reruns of Marin and had the Radio Cowboy episode.
Sure.
And the DJ guy that he meets on there is a guy who bounces from like radio station. It's his like birthday, or no, the night he meets him is he got fired, was his last show. Goes home, there's some other DJs there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like this whole group, they all just keep getting fired from wherever. And there's this like whole stack of posters of this guy dressed as a hippie, dressed as a conservative, for each different kind of radio show that he's had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Grant strikes me as somebody who can wear out their welcome.
Yeah.
In an area, but there's just like something about him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of DJs out there that are like this because, over my lifetime, I've heard the same voice on different stations, different kinds of shows.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wow, what? This is a different take, but sure,
Right. So, back on air, Grant talks about the woman who hit his window, which he alluded to a little earlier. And it intercuts between him talking and Sydney struggling in the kitchen. She's having a little bit of seems like a mental moment, an emotional moment.
Yeah, she's having a hard time making tea.
Yeah.
Something else is going on.
Yeah. Laurel takes a call into the station, and it's weird because it's like she can't understand the caller.
Yeah. We don't get to be party to it.
Right, but she's like, what?
What?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. And then the police radio starts talking about a code 48, which is apparently a hostage situation.
Yes.
There isn't anything on the official police wire, so Sydney wants to hold off, but Laurel fed it to Grant before Sydney could stop her. So he talks about the police report that is fed to him, a hostage situation, and then Sydney cuts in to not talk about it, and he starts this whole story about a fishing hut.
Well, so it's the end of ice fishing season, and apparently on the last day of ice fishing season, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Around town. I've never been party to that kind of life, so
right.
I don't know what that means, but I can roll with it.
I mean, yeah. But then he says it's been resolved, and then he goes back to Ken, the weather guy, and Sydney comes in to talk to him about the show, and she's like, Ken isn't really in a chopper. He plays sound effects. The Sunshine Chopper is his Dodge Caravan or something.
It's a Dodge Dart.
It's Dodge Dart
that he parks on a hill.
Uh-huh.
to have an aerial view of the town.
Yes. But people like the chopper bit.
Because and he uses sound effects
Yeah.
in the background to make it sound like that.
I mean, it's kind of cute,
It is.
you know. Um, so Grant tells her that he hates winter. He's depressed. They make this sort of compromise. So from their argument before, they're making up. She'll let him do his ranting, piss people off bit later in the show. And then they're talking about dropping the hostage story when Laurel gets a call from Ken saying it's urgent. So they put him through to Grant for this breaking news, and it turns out a lot of people have gathered outside the office of a doctor in town, Dr. Mendez, who's under investigation for some shifty prescription stuff.
Yeah, unnecessary prescriptions.
Yeah. And Ken is saying that there are hundreds of people outside this doctor's office. And Ken is kind of frantic, saying that people are getting trampled and killed. And Grant is really struggling with how to respond because this is their guy. This isn't just some rando who's called into the station.
Right.
Right? And why would he say this stuff if it isn't going on?
Yeah, this isn't War of the Worlds radio broadcast shit.
Right. Right. And all three of them are kind of struggling as they're hearing Ken. They're like, what do we do?
Right. One little note. So all these different things, all these phone calls, the things, a couple of things that they keep saying is there's like nothing on the wire.
Right.
They're not getting any official news feeds on anything. So they have no fucking idea.
Yeah. What's really happening?
Yeah.
Like they have nothing to back this up. You know, they want to make sure they're telling the truth and the story is getting out there, what needs to be told, and not information before that it needs to go out. You know, it's a delicate dance.
Yeah.
Right. And then Ken starts talking about helicopters and the military showing up. And they're like, there's still nothing on the wire. I have no idea what. And the team isn't sure what to think is going on. And then they lose Ken.
Yes. And then after they lose Ken, Sydney says again, there is nothing at all on the wire about any kind of thing going on. So they're continuing with the show. So it's a little, a couple of minutes later. But folks, I am so sorry about this, but there's a reason it's in here. And it is horrific to watch. A family comes in to the radio station. Lawrence and the Arabians. Grant loses his shit, asking if these people are what the audience wants to hear right now. And then with a lot of loud fucks, he leads the family into the booth. And this is awful. This is so racist. So this group of people have brown face on, dressed as Arabs, and singing some stupid fucking song. There's a girl, a boy, I guess mom and dad and like Uncle John or some shit. Like there's two dudes.
I thought it was a little theater troupe.
Oh, I didn't get that. That would make it worse.
I don't know.
They come in to sing a song, and it's just horrible. And then the phone rings. It's Rick.
Grant's phone.
Grant's phone rings. Yeah, his flip phone. By the way, everyone has flip phones here because it's 2008. It's kind of cool. So he just flips the phone open and tells Rick, "Listen to this," and then holds it up to the singing family. And he just looks miserable. And the whole thing ends with, "Fuck you, Rick." Then he hangs up. Then the girl suddenly starts saying, I can't remember how it ends. I can't remember how it ends. I can't remember how it ends. And then she starts like babbling. And then she gets hooked up on a word. I can't remember the word, but like present. And then like weird variations.
Yeah.
Um, and then she just goes silent. So meanwhile, we have no word from Ken. Sydney and Laurel Ann are trying to figure out how to get more information.
Yeah. Well, they have had a couple of calls of people calling in who are eyewitnesses who are like hysterical.
Yeah, because they're close to
Hmm.
this doctor's office that's exploding with people.
Yeah.
Uh, then, as the family leaves, Grant tells Sydney that there is something wrong with that girl. And Sydney ignores him because, there's all this other stuff going on. And then the eyewitnesses, uh, the the first one they talk to when they go live is screaming in the background.
Yeah.
So they're like, cut it. And it doesn't sound good.
No.
No. Um, Grant is filling the air while Sydney is trying to get information from a caller and repeating it to Grant. Um, People are calling, but they can't complete the call. They keep having to hang up on people. It's like,
Hmm.
what? So later, they end up cutting to the town constable. And we learn that at 7 a.m. in the morning, they responded to a call about a group of people surrounding an old folks' home. They were babbling. People
Hmm.
were just babbling. Um, I didn't write it in, but I remembered the woman they were hassling, like this woman, and she was German.
Yeah. And
And
so they started repeating stuff that she was saying, like about U-boats and
yeah,
stuff.
um, and then Grant gets some stuff fed to him from Laurel Ann on the computer. Current updates. This is also apparently happening in some nearby towns. And there is some family trapped in a car surrounded by a herd of humans. Then Sydney tells Grant she has some guy from the BBC, Nigel, somebody.
Yeah.
Because this is Canada, it makes sense that the BBC office would hear Grant's show, right? And get the same news that Grant and crew are getting. So BBC monitors like all the Canadian stations,
Hmm.
listening for something. Hey, this could be something we might want to, you know, do to a broader audience, kind of thing. So, then Nigel, they're talking. He eventually asks what it is that is actually going on, and Grant just looks really defeated. Right? He's like,
Yeah.
no one has said.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
he's initially a little starstruck that BBC is calling his radio station.
well, yeah, because he went from whoever he was to this little tiny place called Pontypool,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
there it is.
And they're asking if it's like separatist or terrorist groups or some kind of insurgency. And Grant's like, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, he basically says nobody's told us dick
Yeah.
about what's going on, and we don't have eyes on anything. Well, we did, but he's gone.
Hmm.
Um, so then they reach Ken, and Ken is going on and on about not being safe. He's hiding. He sounds terrified. He just saw things that will ruin the rest of his natural life,
Yeah.
according to him. Now, Grant is calm, and he's telling Ken to calm down, stay hidden. Ken explains the people, some naked, uh, some with strange stares and looks, and they're just kind of like all over the place,
Yeah.
right? And then he sees a group pulling two people out of a van, and then he's screaming, "Oh my God, they're biting them!
Yeah.
They're biting them!" Sydney wants Grant to stop the call. Ken is going completely nuts with fear.
Yeah. It's getting just increasingly unhinged.
Yeah. Um, and then there's a bunch of noise, then quiet on Ken's side.
Hmm.
Uh, Sydney and Grant both tell him to get out of there. And then Ken is quietly describing some gruesome stuff.
But he talks about this kid that they know. Like he names the
Mrs.
kid.
Someone's son,
Yeah, someone
like
he
teenage
knows.
son.
With no hands.
Yeah. And and Sydney is like, cut this fucking, she cut it, goddamn it. We're not
Yeah.
going to listen to somebody fucking die on the radio,
Right.
over the radio, right? And then yeah, Ken is trying to approach the kid without hands. And then there's a loud intercut, and it's like like if you had a cheap pair of walkie-talkies and you're out playing and you end up getting like too close to an actual radio tower.
Oh, sure.
Doesn't matter your frequencies and shit. That signal is just so strong, it just blows right through. And it sounds military. There's
But
like,
it's in French.
yeah, it's in French. But it has that distinct, anyone who served knows what it fucking sounds like when orders are being given in any language.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's gone. Now, Laurel Ann had written this down, was translating, sends it through to Grant.
Because Grant doesn't speak much French.
Right. So I don't know if he's like Canadian.
Right.
No, he does speak some.
He speaks a little.
Yeah. And the translation is, for your safety, please avoid contact with close family members and refrain from the following. Avoid all terms of endearment. Please avoid the English language. Please do not translate this message.
Yep.
Nothing like spilling the Kool-Aid.
Whoops.
Oh, yeah.
And then a quarantine is issued.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Sydney tells everyone they have to stay inside. Pontypool's under quarantine. And then Ken is back asking if they got the sound. They're like, what? They did not. So he's putting the phone near this maniac kid, right, without hands. And he goes on to say his hands have been eaten off. It's pretty awful. It's weird as hell, this sound. It sounds like a child is screaming inside this kid's breath, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how they describe it as well.
Yeah. It's like there's a baby in there or something, or a kid in something in there. And then Ken's gone again. As Grant talks, a bunch of sounds come over the phone. And then Grant is having a moment. This is like, because at first they're like, is someone fucking with us?
Right.
Is this a prank? Is this some sort of shit going on around town? Da 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 da. Because it seems like they're like on the very outskirts.
Yeah.
Right. So Sydney goes into the booth. They end up getting into an argument, and he's just having a lot of trouble believing what's going on. Dead people, strange events, all this stuff going on. And he and the women are stuck underground in the radio station, cut off from everything.
So they think there's someone pranking them. And Sydney is like, there are dead people, Grant. Like a big number. And he insists on getting out.
Yes.
Says that he is having trouble believing it's actually happening. He leaves. Sydney tells Laurel to go to pre-tape anything, just throw something on. And it's the same audio from the beginning of the movie. It's about Honey, the missing cat, and Pontypool. And
yeah, it was just a pre-roll.
Yeah.
Thing. So
Grant goes out, and the girls follow him, trying to get him to come back. He opens the door to the outside, and because it's stormy, we don't see anything.
Yeah, it's stormy as hell. This is full-on Canadian whiteout blizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we, the audience, don't see anything. We're looking at Grant with Laurel behind him. The door's open. They're looking outside.
Yeah, we're looking
at them,
At them. Yeah, we're looking at the station,
but
them
not
facing us
at what
coming
they
up.
see.
Not behind them, no. Or behind
In
us.
front of them?
In front of them.
Yeah.
Directions are hard.
The fourth wall is between Grant and Laurel and whatever they see.
Yes.
So Laurel sees something and pulls him inside. And then we see, we hear the sentences that they were just saying. You know, like Grant, come back inside, blah, 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 blah. The same stuff they were just saying. But on the doors, there are a bunch of like hands.
Right. It's frosted glass.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we just see the dark silhouettes.
Shadow hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, pounding on the door. But they're mimicking
the last few things that Sydney
said.
Mm-hmm. And Laurel Ann.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sydney starts freaking out. Grant, on the other hand, seems pretty happy that he's not going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, good, something is happening. And then they do this bit. They go back to the station. And they're going to do obituaries.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about the obituaries?
I'll put what I had because I didn't like try to string it out because it wouldn't do it justice. But these are funny as hell.
Yeah.
It's a long string. It's a couple killed by so and so who then took their lives and so on and so forth. And it's funny because none of these people are actually people who just like actually fucking died, right?
Right.
Like went to bed and didn't wake up. Every person has been killed by somebody, and then that person has been killed by somebody, and that person. It is all of them are killed by somebody else. It's just fucking hilarious. And to make it even better, we're not just watching Grant spew it out, right? In the booth, they have these little film clips to just kind of like break it up.
Yeah.
I love that part. That was it's always it still is as funny as the first time. It's just like Jesus Christ.
It's a super fun bit. And it's all the people who have died today during this thing.
Yeah.
That's happening. How they have all this information, I don't know. But it doesn't matter because it's just fun. Anyway, Sydney asks Laurel if anything this crazy ever happened to her in Afghanistan. And Laurel just starts to babble. And then she starts to repeat the word missing. You know, like Mazzy is missing.
Yeah, missing Mazzy. Mr. Mazzy. Missing Mr. Mazzy.
Yeah.
Mr. Mazzy missing. Yeah, all these weird combos.
Yeah. And then she's struggling with something. And the tea kettle that Sydney put on goes off. And Laurel just starts making the tea kettle sound.
Yes.
And then a man climbs in the window.
Yep.
And it's Dr. Mendez, the guy whose office was being invaded.
Yes.
And he spots Laurel and he's like, Sydney, shh, don't say anything. And he tells her to get into the sound booth. He wants to lock all the sound in with them.
Mm-hmm.
So Laurel can't hear it. So they get in the sound booth. They realize who he is. And he says that he's willing to go on the radio and talk about what's happening.
And they're like, hell yeah.
Right. Finally, someone who must know something.
Right. Can I just jump back real quick? So before Laurel Ann started going all tea kettle, Sydney, we had a little bit where she was telling her why she's all fucking crazy about her phone. Because she's divorced, she has kids, and her kids are with her ex for the weekend. And he turns his phone off just to be a dick.
Right.
Right. And she's, normally it's a problem. But now it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mendez tells him that Laurel is sick. She doesn't know it, but she's hunting them.
Mm-hmm.
And he insists that they keep the sound in with them. So Grant introduces him on the radio. While they talk, Laurel starts throwing her body at the booth window.
Yeah.
It's very unsettling. And Mendez is just like, yeah, I've seen this all morning.
She's hunting for voices.
Yeah. So Ken calls back in and he says a group went by him an hour ago and were chanting about U-boats.
Right.
And then Ken starts tripping up on his words. And it seems like he might be sick too.
Yeah, he says it's a symbol of the
Yeah,
disorder instead of symptom.
right.
And he knows it,
Right.
but he can't get it.
He's not
Symbol,
a symbol.
symbol, a symbol, symbol,
Yeah.
symbol. Yeah.
And then Mendez says to ask a simple question. And he's just repeating symbol, symbol. And Mendez says he's gone, just a radio signal seeking.
Mm-hmm.
And they hang up on Ken.
So Sydney's upset, and Grant, right, instead of being the gruff dude that he's been, says he's sorry. And he's like, so Ken was a close friend. And she just turns to him and says, no, Ken was a pedophile. She's just known him for 16 years, and that's a long time.
Yeah.
And
Well, she said, not really a pedophile. We just never left him alone with our kids.
we just kept our kids away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or wouldn't let the kids go near him.
And this is all live on the air.
Yes. Yes. I mean, well, why bother? Because, everyone's in it.
Yeah.
Why cut for the commercial? So you can have a chat. So as this is going on, Laurel Ann is at the window with something bloody in her mouth.
Yeah, she's bleeding from the mouth.
Yeah, and she's chewing though. Like
maybe her lips or something?
her lips.
Her tongue?
Even now it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Right? And then she's like staring at him like, nom, 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 and then just turns and walks away. Kind of like Midge used to do. Especially when she would get out of bed. She would come up to us and just give us that 1,000-yard stare with and hold up like a doll or something, just straight faced, and then turn and go back to bed.
Yeah.
So she walks away, and then Grant asks the doctor, can she read lips? And Mendez is fascinated by that.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say that it's viral, but not of the blood or of the air or the body. It's in words. Not all words, but in some. Some words are infected, and it spreads out when the contaminated word is spoken. And it goes on about it's a new emergence of life that found its way into our language.
Right.
And Grant doesn't believe it.
Or when the contaminated word is understood.
Well, yeah, that comes, yeah.
Oh, that comes later.
That's coming up. So Grant doesn't believe it, and Mendez insists that it's real. He says it's when the word is understood that the virus takes hold.
Mm-hmm.
And Grant asks if they should be talking about it then. Should they be talking at all? And Mendez is like, well, to be safe, no. They should stop.
Right.
And Grant says they need to tell people things. They need to be on the air to get it all out. Right?
Yeah.
So then we cut to the front doors. The crowd is starting to break in. So we got fists through glass and all that.
Yeah.
In the booth, Grant's phone rings. It's for Sydney. It's her kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then Laurel Ann is starting to ram herself up against the glass of the booth, just getting blood everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, she does a fucking lunch meat thing on her face.
Yeah.
Just plap, plap, plap. It's just everywhere. And then she walks off. And then we see her like on the other side of the studio. She's like breaking various bits of equipment that are on the shelves and stuff.
It's like she's trying to eat the radio.
Yeah, it's weird. And then she comes to the window, and man, her mouth is really fucked up. You see it. It looks like fucking Heath Ledger version of Joker, with just only it's not closed, right? Just this weird, goes like 2 inches past each corner of her mouth. And her
Mm-hmm.
lips are all, she looks horrible. I mean, creepy as shit. Um, and then Sydney loses the call with her kids. She's upset. Mendez says something strange is happening to Laurel Ann. And she's doing some weird shit, like almost like convulsing or,
Like a seizure or
yeah, and
something.
she's babbling like heavily. And then suddenly vomits a massive amount of blood onto the window and falls to the floor dead.
Yeah.
Good God. So uh Mendez says this is what happens when they can't find a victim.
And he's sort of thrilled to find out what happens.
Well, I mean, he's been in it, but he's having a chance to observe without, having to run for his life. And,
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine anybody who's like a doctor or scientist or something. I mean, in the really good movies, those are the dudes who are like, not in like a weird way, but sort of a like, oh, fuck, we're learning something.
Mm-hmm.
Might get out of it. Could survive this day if I can learn enough shit.
Right.
Right. So, then the upstairs crowd sort of comes down into the studio. Grant turns out the light in the booth, and they all sit down below the level of the glass. The people are babbling, looking, wandering, pressing on the studio or the booth window. Grant grabs a marker and pad, starts writing something, or hands them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they all start writing. Sydney asks on the paper if they threw their voices, would the crowd follow? Mendez was like, had that look like, ooh, I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's lots of back and forth on the pads writing, and it's decided the message to speak because they need to say something.
Right. And the message will travel because these people will carry it.
Yes, it has to be simple.
Yeah.
And it has to be no discerning.
Right.
It has to be just straightforward. So they decide on Sydney Breyer, I'm alive.
Sydney Breyer is alive.
Or is alive, yeah. So Sydney Breyer is alive. So Grant grabs an extra mic and makes a statement recording it. The sound is pumped to the outside speaker on the studio outside of the building. And Grant just keeps looping the recording. And the crowd starts to leave the studio, hearing that outside. And then Mendez starts to babble.
Yeah.
Saying it's only the English language that's infected. And then starts babbling in some language. Sydney asks Grant if he knows French, that they should speak in that. So they leave the booth, leaving Mendez inside.
Mm-hmm.
Grant grabs some whiskey as they go outside.
Yes.
Along the way, they pass the daughter of the music group from earlier.
Right.
Sydney says, "Run, Grant, run now." And then the girl immediately shouts it back and keeps repeating it as she attacks Sydney.
Yeah.
Right? Even though Grant was right there.
Right.
Okay. So they end up killing the girl. Sydney is very upset. And then they hear helicopters outside. They look downstairs into the booth. Mendez is still babbling. Sydney asks Grant if he's going to kill the doctor. He says, no. Just deadpan. No. And then it says, you killed the kid. You can kill the doctor. And then we have some back and forth on this
A little bit of a debate.
Debate in the midst of this whole big thing. And I think it's a fair debate that would come up in the middle of pending apocalypse. She tries to pin killing the doctor, or he tries.
Well, Sydney killed the kid.
Yeah, Sydney killed the kid, but he's still trying to pin killing the doctor on her.
Right.
Saying, well, you one up.
basically.
Yeah. Um, outside the building, we can start, or we start to hear the crowd chanting, Sidney Breyer is alive. So then a recording starts to blare over the inside speakers. And I don't know if this was um, something Mendez hit in the booth or if it
Right.
was like a timed thing. But, in every little radio station like this, there's speakers everywhere. So you
Hmm.
can listen to what, the fuck is going on in your station while you're running through the building. Um, so anyway, something just started blaring shit over the internal speakers. Um, and brings the crowd inside, even though they're trying to break the speakers and stuff. So they hide with the doctor uh, in a storage room. It, then this is really weird. Mendez grabs a crowbar, right, and goes through a window into the crowd. And he's outside chanting, Sidney Breyer is alive.
Yeah, he was trying to save them.
So, yeah, it was just weird. It was just weird. So, anyway, Sidney is writing something on the inside of the door. Grant is fiddling with some CD. Uh, Laurel Ann is still dead. A little bit later, Sidney is drinking, and there's a ton more writing on that wall and the door and everything around it. She's been
Well, she's
scribbling
writing that
shit.
she killed a girl.
Yeah, well, that's what she started was, my name is Sidney Breyer. I killed a girl. But then it just goes on and on and on. I mean, it's wild.
Hmm.
Um, and then Grant suddenly says something about stopping understanding. That Mendez said that understanding a word copies the virus. So Grant asks, how do you stop understanding a word? Which,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a wild fucking question. you know, how do you make a word strange? Sidney says you kill the word that is killing you. And then Sidney starts to repeat kill, 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 just like that.
Yeah. Well, one thing that Grant says is that maybe the repeating is like an immune response, like it's your brain trying to make the word into nonsense because you say a word over and over again.
Right. Um, you know, so he tells her that it's an infected word. He's like, kill isn't kill. Kill is, and he's trying to come up with stuff. Kill is baby. Kill is Monet's garden, and so on and shit like that. And then he comes up with kill is kiss. And that seems to resonate with her.
Right.
So he keeps repeating it. Kill is kiss. Kill is kiss. And then she snaps out of it. And then she says, kill me. And then she kisses him.
Yeah.
And they both feel better. So Grant thinks he just cured Sidney,
Yeah.
which
This is big.
this is huge. So he goes back to the booth to share this information, and he's
Hmm.
all excited. He's like, we're going to save the world. As they are readying for the air, we hear lots of helicopters. They go on the air, and Grant starts to do the word replacement thing,
Hmm.
right? Kill is kiss. Um, honey is tomato, or just,
Yeah. Just repeating a few phrases, saying they need to stop understanding.
stop understanding. Just use the words in place and don't try to understand
Yeah.
why, right? And then we hear some explosions. And then we
Hmm.
hear voices over loudspeakers. Grant is imploring people to stop understanding things. And then the voice outside calls for Sidney to stop the broadcast, that the man on the radio is sick, meaning Grant. And they're still going. There's more explosions. And then they start both doing words. There's gunshots, more bombs. Uh, Grant is screaming for them to stop killing people through the radio.
Yeah.
And then it stops. And then he keeps continuing. Sidney thinks everyone outside is dead. Grant speaks into the mic. You're just killing scared people. It's what you always do.
And he goes into his rant.
Yes, I thought he goes into a speech, Grant Mazzy style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a great speech. He ends it with, "It's not the end of the world, it's just the end of the day."
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
There's more bombs. Then there's a countdown from 10 in French. Sydney runs into the booth, kisses Grant, and then darkness. Now, that's the end of the movie, basically. But, folks, keep watching through the entire credits because they have various news broadcasts from different areas talking about the situation. And if you keep watching it, it's spreading.
Yeah.
So it's where it's, sort of like an epilogue to it. And, you don't want to miss it. That's my thing.
Well,
That is Pontypool. And I cannot wait to dive into all of the shit that I like about this movie and why I had so much trouble with this movie in the beginning.
let's do it. So, first impressions of this movie the first time we watched it. Because we have been doing this thing where we watch a movie once just to watch it, and then we watch it a second time and take notes.
Yes.
And I like that process. It takes a little longer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my very first impression of this film, after we got done watching it, was like, this seems like a film school student film.
Yes.
And it might be.
I don't think for that kind of money.
That's true. It's really intelligently done, just in the fact that it's got basically two characters, right? And a couple extras.
Right.
And one location. I'm going to put that in kind of quotes because it's the studio.
Right.
Right? And there are a couple of rooms in the studio, but it's very clearly all the same space.
Right.
And that is how you keep a budget pretty low. We don't see the masses of people.
No.
Ever.
Right. And when the first time I saw it, none of that dawned on me.
Okay.
Because I'll get into it in a bit.
Well, I mean, when we watch movies for this podcast, those are things we started noticing a long time ago, which is why we started this podcast. Right?
Yeah.
To take lessons from films like that one.
Right.
And so that is the lens through which I view a lot of things.
Right. Well, in 2008, though, we weren't doing a podcast.
We were not.
Didn't even know each other.
No.
And yeah. So I was just like, oh, watch this movie. Oh, what happened? Like I said, it took me a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, because I saw it on like HBO
okay.
or Cinemax or Showtime, one of those. So it must have hit it pretty quick. I guess because of the abysmal theater returns.
Right.
Right. It hit the pay services. This is way before streaming. But anyway.
Yeah. And so I was sort of, because you'd mentioned this movie a couple of times, but you hadn't told me a whole lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a little puzzled.
You use those words so many times about movies that you see for the first time that I've gone on about.
Yeah. Well, I was sort of puzzled about why you wanted to cover it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because it felt a little underwhelming. And I was like, it's obviously not high budget. The effects with Laurel Ann were really good.
Yes.
They were very good. And the actors themselves were very good.
Yes.
But the concept of the film wasn't something I had ever really thought about before.
Yeah.
And we've both watched a lot of zombie movies, a lot of different zombie movies.
All kinds.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of different kinds of zombies.
Yeah.
In film.
If anybody doesn't know by now, like new listeners and stuff, we love horror movies, but zombie films, that's the shit. That's We've got like zombie arm back scratchers. We used to have these adorable zombie mugs till they started falling
It's
apart because
true.
we used them so fucking much. And
Yeah.
you know,
The company
zombies are
that made
it.
them doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But well, and that was one of the first things that we sort of connected about.
Yeah.
You know, as our friendship grew into, you know, our relationship and then so on and so forth. One of the first things that we were both very interested in talking to each other about were zombies and
Yeah.
zombie movies.
Yeah.
And our first screenplay that we wrote together is a zombie movie.
Yes.
So yeah, I found it really interesting. We don't get to see a whole lot of the zombies. There is the part at which the studio fills up with people.
Right. As they wander in
Mm-hmm.
and then get disenfranchised and wander out to the
Right.
sounds.
Yeah, but there isn't a whole lot of the zombie like grabbing people and biting them and
There is no conflict.
all that classic stuff. Yeah, they hide in the sound
except
booth.
for the little girl. But
Right.
that was separate.
Right. And so I wasn't sure if I liked it.
And where do you sit now?
I do like it. I think it's really interesting. Because of the concept that a language can become infected. And the bit about understanding words is really interesting to me as a writer.
Yes.
Because there are words that you can understand without hearing them necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with the people who you surround yourself with who speak the same version of language that you do.
Right.
In our household, we have a lot of little inside jokes about shows that we watch together and things that we experience together and all that stuff.
Phrases that happens, things that Midge said or you said or what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like a pair of sevens and a pair of queens, motherfuckers. Doesn't make any sense to anybody else.
No, but it gets me every time.
But to us, those words carry a whole memory. They carry a whole understanding.
Yes.
Right? And when they're talking about avoiding, close family members, using terms of endearment
Mm-hmm.
and using the English language altogether, that I find really, really interesting. You and I have, not pet names, but things that we say to each other that are terms of affection, terms of endearment.
Right.
That even if I were across the house and only half listening to you, if you said something like that, I would immediately understand fully.
Yes.
I need to be engaged. I know what he said, blah, 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 that kind of thing. It's just really, it's interesting to think about.
I agree. So, first time I saw this, like I said, I was just sitting, looking for something to watch. That's what was coming up next. I'm like, okay, we'll give it a go. And I just wasn't sure what I had just seen.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I didn't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there are some movies that we've seen together and separately.
Yeah.
That's like, nope. Nope. Even if I stomached it through the whole way through, this is a hard no. Never again. So I looked for it the next time it was on and watched it again. And I was starting to think those things.
Yeah.
You know? And I've seen this like, I don't know, 7, 8 times before we jumped into it. Because I always got more out of it. Right? Got me thinking about more stuff. Because that says something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you see a movie and all these years later, that fucker is still on your mind and things still bring it up and you're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's a good job.
It is.
That's a movie well done.
Yeah.
Right? So my thing with this now that, I'm past all that, and I dug it because I love the concept of a virus becoming audible, right? Using
Right.
sound. And it made me think of, like, they're out there all the time now because of social media, but there used to be those tests on the internet where it was a whole paragraph of words with extra letters and words broken up. And the thing is can you read this from beginning to end?
Right.
And most people can. Not everyone can,
Oh, those
but
are still out there.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're all over social media. They pop up. Um, but that's the thing with the brain, the understanding.
Hmm.
What your eyes transmit to your brain is superseded by the brain.
Yeah.
Brain's like, okay, I get what you're feeding me, right? I get what you're literally seeing, but I've got this,
Yeah.
right? Making sense out of stuff that doesn't make sense as the written word, you
Right.
know? That's, I mean, it's an amazing, the brain is a marvelous fucking mystery.
It is, especially considering that language in the written word is stuff that we just made up.
I know. And we just made it work.
Yeah.
And the brain is doing a better job at it than we are consciously,
Hmm.
right? It's like, I got you. I got you. I'm not going to give away my secrets because fuck you, but I've got it. Don't worry,
Yeah.
you know? But anyway, um, so from that standpoint, as a writer, I found that fascinating,
Yeah.
that they're doing that. And that question, we just, we talked about it. How the fuck do you not understand a word? How do you consciously try to not understand a word? And I think that has to do with that fucked up paragraph that people can read. You're not trying to understand the written part. You're translating it to
Hmm.
understand it. So I think that would be nigh unto impossible. Because how can you subconsciously do something that you're consciously aware of trying to do that needs to be done,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so many layers there. So many layers. But that aside, from a writing filmmaking standpoint, one location. This is the first movie that I've seen where a zombie apocalypse has unfolded, and we basically didn't leave a room. I mean, yeah, there was the storeroom and stuff, but you know what I mean. We never left the radio station.
Yeah.
We never had an outside look at all.
Hmm.
Never saw Ken. Poor Ken.
Poor pedophile Ken.
Yeah, I don't know where Rick was, but apparently it was going to get to him anyway at some point. This
Right.
Reading, right? Um, I will say that's genius. The writing of this, uh,
Well, and it's very
to do
clever to
that.
tell the story, I mean, through a radio station.
Yes. Yes. Now this is a high budget,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is clearly a B movie, right? Um, and that's the thing too. The evolution of Canadian film has been like warp speed from point A to point B. Uh, and for a long time, it languished at A. There is just like watching British shows, right? You
Hmm.
can see a BBC production. You can see when BBC Studios backed a movie. There's just something to it,
Yeah, there's a
right?
flavor.
Yeah. Same with Canadian films, and not all of them were really good, you know. But it's like any other film industry in any other country, they're doing their thing, and I think what helped propel the evolution of Canadian film to become just like bam was the fact that Hollywood was like, oh, it's cheaper to do it in Canada. Fuck it, let's go. Right?
Yeah.
So we have William Shatner, for example, right? Flew down here in the 60s, became Captain Kirk,
Yeah.
right? Arguably the most famous Canadian space explorer on television ever in history. I think them being able to get their hands around the Hollywood machine, because it was up there,
Yeah.
right? Taking some of that and be like, oh, okay, oh, yeah, realizing we can do this. Because a lot of Canadian films Like you'll always see, like, Canadian Film Institute, CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation behind everything.
Yeah, I mean, one of the really interesting things is that every other country that does film in a concentrated way has a government backed
Yeah.
program. The United States does not
No.
because we have Hollywood.
Yeah.
And Hollywood isn't controlled. I mean, I bet the government fucking wishes, but they're not a government entity.
Well, yeah, Stitches, Irish Film Board.
Yeah.
Right. Uh, just so many others.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about one. Well, that's the other thing too, is usually when you see a foreign film, like I said, there's, the 15-minute pre-roll of so-and-so studios in association with this. And then just randomly a name pops up and, because so many things, they involve so many studios
Yes.
and production companies in these things. And that's what I'm saying. Before Hollywood started, trying to make shit on the cheap, going to Canada, I think, learned the power of having, well, and they've always had a government-backed arts program,
Yes.
right? Canada first. And can't fucking blame them.
Right.
Why wouldn't you, right? But then well, maybe as a government in one studio, we can't do this. What if we bring in all these other studios, right?
Yeah.
All these private studios can chip in a little bit and everyone can handle aspects of it.
Right.
Right. Because, let's be fair. Any government run operation is not going to be smooth.
No, it's
not at all. So anyway, I don't know. There's something about the tone of it too, right? Every time I watch this, I feel like warm and fuzzy. I feel like I'm there in that studio. I know what Grant feels like sitting in that booth with a microphone in front of his face.
It's very intimate.
Right? Yeah. I don't know that they did this, but I'm going to say this as a little tip. If you're doing a movie that's going to take place in like a radio station or something similar, and maybe not the whole thing, but a good portion of it, don't use prop mics. This is the opportunity to make those mics hot.
Yeah.
And use it for sound, because there is not one instance in this film where anything is off.
Oh,
sound-wise.
No. It's great sound-wise.
And I will say, Mazzy's voice.
Oh, he's got a great voice.
God, super DJ voice. Super mild morning show kind of thing. Just radio voice.
Oh, yeah. He's got a great radio voice.
Yeah. And it works so well. And it just brings so much to it. So like I said, I don't know if they used hot mics or if they were just props, but folks, if you got the microphones, use them.
Right.
Right? Don't go through a whole big sound setup. Just sit someone down in front of a mic and record it. That's your soundtrack. But just the idea of all this going on and we don't see anything. But, inside.
I mean, that is part of the genius of it. And that is why it feels so intimate, because we don't get to see the things that they're talking about. We're experiencing it with them as it happens. We don't get to peek behind the curtain of what's going on outside.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're experiencing it with them through their ears and eyes.
It is almost real time.
Mm-hmm.
We do see some lapses on the clock.
Yeah.
Right? But not huge.
No.
Not like Walking Dead where it's, like 5 days later.
Right.
Right. It's as close to real time as you could get.
In a film.
Yeah. Yeah. And I forgot what I was going to say. Shit.
Well, I mean, just to elaborate a little more about why it feels the way it feels is like in a usual film, they'll be talking about this, and then the film might cut to the people swarming a building, or cut to these horrific scenes, or, something like that.
Or, as is standard in every zombie movie, almost, we're talking about zombies and shit going on outside and stuff. And then just the camera is like put on the ground, or, kind of as the
Right.
horde walks. It
Right.
doesn't have to be fancy, right?
Right.
But that is in like almost every, with the cutaway,
It is.
you know?
Yeah. But I mean, as they're listening to Ken, his first little bit, right? And they do build it up. I mean, from the very first thing, they say Honey the cat,
Yes.
right?
And they kept playing that fucking thing over and over.
Yeah. Um, but from the first sort of interaction they have with Ken, where he's freaking out and telling them what's going on, we don't know. Is this a War of the World situation? Are they being pranked? Like, what is going on with Ken?
Well, especially when you find out Ken's sitting on a Dodge Dart on top of a hill,
Right.
right?
You're like, well, I mean, that's a little shifty.
Well, and watching it through the first time, like I said, I had a lot of just questions, but the second time, that was a question: are they getting pranked? Because we've seen the snowstorm,
Yeah.
right? It's a top 10 blizzard
Yeah.
out there. What can this fucking dude see from his car? And how big
Right.
is this hill, right?
Yeah.
You can barely see 20 feet into the parking lot. How
Yeah.
is he going to see all this shit happening? So it does lend credence to, is this like a
Maybe.
big, let's fuck with Mazzy, the new guy kind of thing?
Right. Or, do this whole elaborate prank to make him go crazy and get him fired, because that's what he thinks is going to happen, is that he's going to get fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Um, so what I was going to say, I love that the fact that this was done from a book
Mm-hmm.
that was, someone saw it, read it or something. I don't know the history of how it got to become a film, but I'm glad it was done in Canada. And here's why. Because if you think about this movie, and I think about this a lot, the last 3 or 4 times I saw it before this, was if an American studio had gotten hold of this, they'd have fucking ruined it. They would have absolutely ruined it. One little thing that is purely Canadian about this whole thing. In Canada, they have 2 official languages.
Right.
Every kid grows up learning French. And in the French speaking province, in Quebec, they make sure they know English. Not everyone's a master of it.
Right.
I know quite a few people who are just like that. It's like, well, I can be functional in like I need to use the bathroom situation, or can you please make change situation.
Right.
But if you want to sit down and have an hour-long conversation, because a lot of them are just like, fuck the French. I'll do my thing, pass my classes, and move on, right? But I think that was the genius of the book and the movie, is because they have both languages. They could choose English as infected and just segue into, of course, they speak French. If it had been in America, I don't know if they'd have gone that route. They certainly wouldn't have picked French.
Right.
Right. And then we're in a situation where, oh, well, by coincidence, both these people are, fucking masters of Latin for some reason,
I
and they're going to
mean,
go that route, right? I just think that was such a beautifully simple and probably missed point of the film
mm-hmm.
by a lot of people who watch it, who, maybe don't realize or just don't think about it. But I love that it harnessed the dual language in Canada to make that the point,
Right.
And I also like how they didn't take us completely into French,
Right.
because I would have lost interest if the last half of this movie was all subtitles. We wouldn't be talking about it. I'd have given up a long, long time ago. So I like that. And I think that was just really just great. And like I said, I don't think an American studio would have caught that, and they'd have just like fucking ran with something else, if they even bothered with it.
Right.
Right. But more importantly, we would have had cutaways.
Right.
Right. There are some movies that we've seen that are like in a room. right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
whole thing. Scare Me.
Scare Me was great.
Now, Scare Me had the bit, a little bit outside because they had to do the jogging thing so they could meet, right? But once it kicked off, it was all inside. Even when the pizza guy showed up,
Mm-hmm.
stayed inside, right? And that was wonderful. That was wonderful. But we have also seen similar movies that just don't do it. They just don't do it for me. They 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 bombed.
Yeah.
It's so constructed or contrived. It's not even good enough to be claustrophobic,
Right.
you know. But Pontypool nailed it, I think. Just like absolutely one location, and for an indie filmmaker, that's the fucking dream. For an indie filmmaker who writes their own stuff, you know, it this was talked about heavily during the pandemic,
Oh, yeah.
right? There was people all over the fucking place making movies in their apartment because it's like
What else
you
do
know
I
yeah,
do?
there was a couple people who were in Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and had the money and bought a bunch of shit and had it shipped to somebody. And over Zoom, they showed them how to set it up so they could do a movie in multiple locations,
Right.
right? All using the same cameras and stuff, and all digital. So it goes back to whoever is in charge,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just edit and do all that stuff. I mean, that's fucking amazing. And that
I mean, David Tennant and Michael Sheen did that show.
yes, the both of them over Zoom.
Yeah,
And it was brilliant.
it was. It
God,
was.
I love that.
It was a great show.
I mean, the pandemic has given us a lot of good, good stuff, good
Yes.
indie B movie level stuff. And I think sometimes when we do the show and we talk about stuff, it's easy to forget the mountain of magic, the number of genies in lamps at our feet, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, money is a thing, you know, but we've said it so many times, and I don't feel like we can ever say it enough that you can use what you've got. If you're listening to this, you have a fucking computer or a cell phone or a tablet of some kind.
That has a camera on it.
All of them have cameras on them.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. Sound might be shit. Well, Rode has some super cheap microphones that will do the trick. Because really, all you need is an external microphone that preferably is directional. And most of them are, because that's why they build them now. They got the little tiny ones that are, like 4 inches? They plug right into the phone.
Yeah.
That gets rid of all the echoey shit. You got, free stuff out there. Ableton Light, GarageBand,
Yeah.
for Mac folks. We use Logic Pro. But it's all out there and you can run shit through that. I mean, I do. If I turn everything off, it's a little echoey in here. So we've only got, a couple little things of tiles.
Right.
Because these walls are super hard.
Yes.
And even with the stuff on the walls,
It doesn't break it up.
doesn't break it up enough. Well, because a lot of stuff is pictures, so that doesn't help. So I'm going to put some more tiles up to make my post-production a little easier,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it doesn't take much to run that through. You know, 35, $40, you can get Crumple Pop Echo Remover. Done. You don't need to fuck with levels and mixing the equalizer to get those little echoes out and figure out where the fucking frequency is, because I have no fucking idea. I'm happy to talk with anybody about sound, but understand, I have no idea. Here's what I do. I sit down, I listen to it, I'm like, And then I start moving shit.
Playing around?
Yep, moving levers, moving this. What's this do? Ooh. And sometimes it's like, oh, I know I could use that like in another thing I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's like BF McGillicuddy. When I ever get back to that, I have a whole different way now of mixing the voice without having to do all these plugins and shit. Found some little secrets in the equalizer.
Nice.
Boom. But anyway, make a single location film and use the shit that you've got.
Mm-hmm.
And start with a short if you have to. Yeah, there's so much out there and it's free and you don't need a hopped up computer to render. It might take a while,
Sure.
but this isn't indie film's not about speed. God knows that.
about just getting done.
Yeah, but there's just so much. And when I see this movie, and I'm like, this single location is just fucking masterful, right?
Yeah.
But they utilized with that kind of money a lot of tech.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm like, did they hot mic everything and stuff? I'm pretty sure like Sydney's microphone that goes straight to his headphones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't. You know,
Yeah. I
why
don't
would you
think
need
so.
to? Because it wasn't like a 2-camera sitcom,
Right.
right? They shot the scenes with her, and then they shot him, and then they edited them together. Right?
Yeah. I mean, this felt very much like a single cam production. I don't know why you would have needed multiple ones.
That's the other thing. With a single location, right? Tear down and setup is super easy,
Mm-hmm.
especially since most of it took place in the studio. Get your basic lighting, the set lighting,
Mm-hmm.
and then set up your lighting for this shot, and then take it down, set up your lighting for that shot. There's almost the whole movie.
Yeah.
Right? Point of view. That's all you got to do. Um, so as written, I think this is really good. I think it is genius on these little elements.
Yeah.
Um, I'm still a little flabbergasted that a zombie apocalypse took place without ever seeing it.
Yeah.
Right? Um, I was a little sad at the end
Yeah.
because it was very much a Night of the Living Dead ending.
It was. Yeah.
You know, dude makes it through all that and just gets popped by some redneck.
Well, and on top of that, they didn't really save the world.
Well, they didn't get a chance to.
Yeah.
And, but his speech at the end, folks,
It's excellent.
It's excellent. Absolutely excellent. Um, his whole approach to the character is brilliant. He uses that radio voice.
Mm-hmm.
He uses that I like to make conspiracy things just to piss people off. And you can see he's enjoying it.
Oh,
right
yeah.
in the beginning. You can see he's like, I don't believe a good goddamn word of any of this.
Nope.
But fuck him. And it's just really great. So from a production standpoint, I can't think of a single thing that was deficient. Acting, superb. Even this horrifically racist musical family. Oh, you know. Yeah, I don't know. The girl did well, as
she did.
Batshit crazy, go get him kind of thing. And if nothing else, things to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Watching this movie, even if you're not like, hey, I want to improve my craft, I want to get an idea and a sense on how to make a film and what I want to do. Just from a movie lover standpoint, watch this thing. Talk about the concept of, can a virus be sound? Can it exist and spread through sound? And then you can do deep dives into the virus like we did.
I mean, we'd have to talk about what is the definition of a virus, because biologically, I don't think a virus can exist in a sound or a language. But something, right?
I mean,
the best word for it would be a virus, right? Because it spreads and it acts like a virus. But
it would. A virus, even though it's technically not alive, which I argue that all the fucking time. Like, you got to get away from the dictionary definitions. But one of the key things about a virus is it will mutate, and quickly, not over time.
Mm-hmm.
It can, from day 1 to day 5, become something completely different.
Yeah.
Because it is doing it to adapt and survive. So how is that not living? Right? Anyway, we talk about this with things like Last of Us out there and cordyceps and, what happens, and, is it fungal? Is it viral? What is the deal? But anyway, we won't get into that on the show. But it's good conversation to have, folks.
Yeah.
Watch this, sit down with a group of people, and then afterwards have some pizza and shit and be like, let's go. Let's try to understand this.
So, check it out. With that,
With that,
go check out our website, lordsandmissruleproductions.com.
on that website, you're going to find links to everything. You're going to find links to our Patreons for the podcast and the production company. You're going to find links to our YouTube channels and obviously
Socials.
our social.
Yeah.
Do we have a Facebook link? I don't think we do.
Yeah, we do.
Do we?
Yeah.
We have a link to it?
I don't know. Probably.
I don't. Okay. Maybe. I know we have Instagram. That's the one I wrestle with. Email address info@lordsofmissruleproductions.com. You don't want to go through all that bullshit. Go to the website. Bam. Link.
That's right.
It'll open up to an email. Magic. It's only 40 years old, but
Yeah.
that particular kind of magic. So yeah, check everything out. Also, the podcast is on there, obviously episodes. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening to it through the website, woo, kudos. But it's also on how many other things.
All the big podcast things.
All the big guys.
Become a patron if you can.
Yes, please become a patron. We would like to keep this podcast going and not have it run us into the red, and we'd be happy to break even.
Yep.
So that's all we're looking to do.
And happy 150th episode to us.
Yes. And granted, we had a break.
We did, yeah.
Life does that, but
that doesn't diminish the number of episodes.
It doesn't. And that's the other thing too. As we get more patrons, we can start bouncing towards a weekly again. Right? Because we hit it hard and heavy.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate. Kept it up until we just gotta stop. So yeah.
Yeah.
So we can get back to that weekly.
Bi-weekly's working for us for now. But yeah, it would be cool to be able to go weekly.
Yeah. Or even a combination.
Sure.
Of every other week is this, and then in between something related.
Sure.
Right? I don't know. Anyway, also when you check out YouTube channels, check out the folks on our channel listings and give them a peek. Most of them are other filmmakers, indie filmmakers, and they sure could use your patronage.
They sure could.
So, give it a shot. Give it a look. See what you can do. Help folks out.
That about wraps it.
I think it does.
Well.
I will say, though.
Okay.
I just want to say this because I'm so excited.
Yeah?
Folks, we have a movie that we should have done week 1.
Oh, coming up next episode?
Next episode. And I got to tell you, we love doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And we love that this reaches your ears. But folks, you need to understand the deep pain that this next episode is going to cause us. Because we got to watch this movie again to take notes.
Well, we started watching it again. We got to finish watching.
Oh, there's only 15 minutes left.
I know, but it's the important 15 minutes.
Well, it is the important 15 minutes. But then we got to watch this again and take notes on it. And
it's true.
We're doing it for you, B-siders.
We are.
We're doing it for you.
Gone is our run of good, thoughtful movies that we've had this lucky streak for a little bit.
Yeah. There'll be more.
But
all right.
It's still tune in, even though we have spoiled the movie's not great.
All you have to do, folks, is listen to it.
Yeah.
We had to watch it.
You don't have to watch it.
Well, I'm going to encourage them to watch it.
Are you really?
Yes.
Why?
I'll talk about it when it happens. We'll see.
Until next time.
Until next time, B-siders.
This is Danny.
And this is Jim.
Bye.
Bye.